Welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. Today I am reviewing something, well, they call it the Pappy Van Winkle of the Scotch world. Well, that's an American magazine. They should really be calling Pappy the Port Ellen of the American whiskey world. Maybe I'm just very Scotch-centric, as you can see, because Scotch has been around longer. So I guess explaining to everyone else what the magnitude of the bottle in terms of how rare it is, that's probably the best way to do it. Although I think Pappy doesn't quite describe it, because Pappy still exists and they're still making it. They're still distilling from the distillery, and Pappy is essentially just Buffalo Trace aged in a certain area of the warehouse. So it's not really anything that rare. Okay, Port Ellen was decommissioned in 1983. Look, I'm not going to tell you too much more about it, because if you're watching my channel, you should know what Port Ellen is. If you don't, I think that Googling it and looking at it would give you more information than I could. But suffice it to say, it is now one of the most coveted bottles or distillery in the world. Whether that's right or wrong, well, that's a matter of opinion. There are a lot of good bottles out there, closed distillery bottlings, that are excellent, and there are some that are not even closed that are excellent. But today, it's not about that. Today we're reviewing this particular bottle. It is the first Port Ellen that I'm reviewing. I've only had, I think from memory, one or two Port Ellens in my entire life. So this is going to be second or third. I don't quite remember anymore, but second or third Port Ellen. So I don't have a huge base of comparison for them, but that's not the point. I will take you through the flavors and my analysis of the flavors as I know other distilleries comparing to the Port Ellen. A little background on the bottle. Once again, I've never had a McGibbon's Provenance bottling. I've never had that at all. So this is the first time I'm trying this bottle as well. The cool thing about it though, so this bottle is a 23-year-old Port Ellen. Of course, no chill filtering, and of course, no artificial colors. But it is distilled in 1983, which is one of the best years ever, because that's my birth year. So it's distilled in 1983, and it's also called the final vintage in its last season of distillation, because the distillery was properly shut down in 1983. So this is one of the last distillates that the distillery has ever gone through, which makes it novelty on top of novelty, right? So novel on top of novel. Look, this bottle was bottled in 2007, so it's been in the bottle for quite a while. I've had to replace the cork because the old cork actually decided to crap itself. So just to give it some justice, this is going to be the first whiskey I'm going to review in my, when I do sessions of reviews, just to give it the maximum amount of chance for the flavors to come out, because it is such a special bottle. 46%. Let's pour. And as usual, I am reviewing with the blender's glass, aka butt plug, or butt bulb. The reason why is because I want to get every possible nose out of it. Okay, so I don't usually use this as my daily glass, but when I review especially super premium whiskies, this is what I use. So let's get nosing. Immediately I get smoke, and I get a plasticine, like a slightly burnt hot plastic. Well, look, I don't know if it's supposed to be heavily peat or not, but it is an Islay whiskey. I can definitely get some peat in there, but not too heavy peat. More actually a thick smoke than a peat. More actually like a fire consuming a building. I know that sounds weird, but just a couple of years ago, the convention center here in Auckland actually was set alight, and the whole city was filled with this thick smog of smoke. And that's what it smells like. It smells like a burning building. Is that too soon? I don't know. I'm getting a sweetness. I'm getting a coconut. I'm getting vanilla. I'm presuming it is a bourbon influence. I'm getting a fresh ginger root. I'm getting wet grass, a bit of soil, a dustiness, and I'm getting what I usually would associate as old bottle effect. But look, that's a debatable concept apparently, but it is definitely an older style whiskey. I'm getting soot, candle smoke. I'm getting a hot burnt glass, and I always say, so when you throw an empty bottle onto a bonfire, you smell that hot glass. That's what I'm getting in there as well. A bit of gravel, like granite. I don't know how I'm getting that smell, but I'm getting granite, like when you have like fine granite in your hand, in the aquarium, aragonite. I'm getting aragonite. When you have an aquarium, when you have aragonite. So I'm thinking calcium, some sort of calcium influence. I can't be sure, but I associate that with calcium carbonate or calcium. Russian fudge, buttery on the nose. And a definite herbaceousness to it as well. I'm just trying to pick the herbs. A hint of rosemary, some tarragon, a pinch of aniseed, and a hint of cardamom. Shit, it smells like an Indian curry. No, I'm kidding, it doesn't. But I'm getting like a spice bouquet in there. A spice bouquet. Very complex on the nose. For a 46%, quite a punchy dram on the nose. That doesn't always necessarily translate to the palate. This is the first time I'm trying this with you, so I have never tried this yet. And I'm getting baby talcum powder. Alright, let's get sipping. Nice, very nice. The person who gave this to me, he's actually a bit of a godfather of whiskey. Thank you, Lloyd. This is actually his contribution for our super premium tasting coming up. So I'm just tucking into it before we actually do it. But by the time this video is published, maybe we've already had it, but who knows? He said he didn't quite like this one compared to other Port Allens, but I don't know why. First impression, very delicious. The mouthfeel is quite thick and viscous. It's oily for a 46%er. Yeah, 46%er. I find it to be quite compelling. The finish is long. It's a little fiery, not too fiery, but definitely heat to it, which is great because that's a delicious trait of a whiskey, is when you've got a little bit of heat, and it's like having a cup of instant Maggi noodles versus a bowl of Sichuan noodle soup. You've got that roughness, and you have the edges, and you have that rustic flavor, just a genuine flavor, and it depends on your palate. If you like the Maggi, if you like the bowl of ridiculously spiced, and the mouthfeel is fantastic. It's oily, it is buttery in the mouthfeel, a hint of citrus, but I'm going to give it another chance before I start calling out flavors, because the second sip is always building on itself, and I have a feeling that this will build on itself. I'm getting hot stones, the smell of hot stones at the back of the palate. I'm getting sugar syrup. I'm getting lemon zest and a little bit of lemon juice and citrus to it. I'm getting a ginger spice and heat. The herbaceousness comes through right in the end. I'm getting a little bit of coriander root, black pepper. But the lemon rind and lemon pith is definitely something that is quite apparent with this particular one. It's just an oil that, you know, when you bite into a lemon pith or lemon peel, you know, when you peel it, grate it into something and you bite into it, you've got that oiliness that coats your mouth straight away. It's definitely got that. The smoke is something that you can't miss as well. I left that not so early on, but yes, you get a lot of smoke. The back of the nose, there's definitely smoke. Look, I'm pretty sure this is going to be peated, as it is Islay, and that's how they did it back then. But I'm not going to say to you that this is a heavy peat. I don't feel like it's a heavy peat. It's quite a smoky whiskey, You know, coal fire as opposed to a peat fire is what I'm smelling. Wood fire as opposed to the resiny iodine peat. But I am getting a little bit of salinity on the palate. I'm getting a little bit of dustiness, old newspaper. I'm getting that. Let me sip again. I'm getting a slight floral nature to it. I don't know what floral that I can get, but cedarwood. I'm getting some cedarwood. I'm getting some dry leaves, unburnt cigar tobacco, and cedarwood. And a lingering taste of a sweet and a sour. The sweet is sugar syrup and toffee fudge. And the sour is lemon rind, lemon juice, and lemon pith, the bitterness of a lemon pith. Fantastic whiskey. I don't know why he doesn't like it. I think it's fantastic. Is it the best whiskey I've ever had? No, I can't say that. But is it a very good whiskey? Yes, I find this to be quite exceptional. The flavour is very different. It is almost like a hybrid between Highland and Islay, which to me is unusual. I feel like it's a hybrid between Islay and Highland. It's got that Highland mellow, it's got that Highland slight sweetness, but it does have that smokiness of the Islay as well, and a very, very slight hint of peat and salinity. Look, I think this is fantastic whiskey. Great. And I don't even know if you can still get this. I've seen it in Whiskey Base, that I'm sure you can buy it on auctions. I would say yes, it's not only a collectible, but it's a hell of an experience. So yes, I will give it my green light. Whiskey pairings, it really depends on your palate. I think for a whiskey this rare, for a whiskey this novelty, I just would forgo food or cigars with it. I would actually not eat an hour or two before this whiskey, largely because if you do, you might just taint the palate. This is a whiskey that I would drink for tasting and appreciation and concentrating purposes. And then after a dram or a dram and a half or two, I would move on to something else more quaffable. And then I'll revisit it every now and then as a special dram or a novelty dram. That's what I would do with these. But it depends on how you approach things, but that's how I approach things. I probably wouldn't pair this with a particular cigar just because I want to taste the nuanced flavors of it, and there's a lot of that. I'm also getting a bit of, now that it's a few sips in, I am getting that, I mean, like I said, not heavily peated, but I am getting that Islay bandage glue, the leucoplast bandage smell in there. I am starting to get that now. And I always, I've quoted this before in the past, and I don't even know how to explain it, but my family had this old 1940s burn lotion. It's from World War II. It's a burn lotion. It's like a mix where you put it on a burn, and it, obviously, apparently, it really makes it feel better. I don't remember using it, but I just remember opening it and smelling it, and it's got that old herbal, old chemically kind of taste, almost like when oil's just old in a bottle and it's starting to degrade in itself. That smell, like an old greasy smell, it's got a little bit of that as well. Really compelling bottle. I like it. I really like it, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the experience. So look, until next time, have you had many Port Allens? Have you had this Port Allen? I am curious to know more about these bottles, this particular bottler, but also what are your experiences with Port Allen? Let me know your thoughts, and until next time, make sure you hit the shit out of that bell. Make sure you eat, smoke, drink.